Good morning, everyone. It's Belinda Weaver here, and it's time for another AMA. That means Ask Me Anything. Now, there's been a lot happening in the For Love of Copy Facebook group, and I haven't been around a lot for the last week or so because I have been welcoming new confident copywriters into my private coaching group. But now I am back, and it's time to give you the chance to ask me some questions so I can give you some answers. So we got a lot of questions. I'm just bringing up the questions here that have already been posted into the Facebook group. But if you have questions that occur to you as I am chatting, just post them in the comments. Now you'll need to let StreamYard have approval so that I can see your name and face if you want me to, but otherwise post your questions in the comments. Say hello if you are watching live, drop hashtag replay if you are watching the replay. All right, I've got my tea, I've got Facebook open, I've got a notebook, I've got way too many other things on my desk as well, but let's get started. All right, I say I've got it open and now I can't find it. Here we go. All right, so the first question I have is from Marcella, and Marcella is a new confident copywriter as well, but she's asked some really, really good questions that I think will be useful. All right, so Marcella asks, could you explain to me if the unique positioning statement is what Susie Daphnis calls the connection statement? Now, Susie Daphnis heads up an amazing group called Her Business. It used to be called the Australian Business Women's Network. I've been a member since 2011, and she talks about something called the connection statement that dials you into basically what you do, who you do it for, and what kind of problems that you're solving for your audience. So basically, the quick answer, Marcella, is yes, it's the same thing. A unique selling statement, a unique positioning statement, that kind of thing is where you're able to quickly and succinctly communicate who you are, what you do, who you do it for, and how it helps them. And that might be the transformation that you offer, or it might be the pains and the problems that you solve. But those are the core components. And in the connection statement in Her Business, and that is a trademarked idea, this connection statement, you might also introduce things like how you do it, whether you have signature programs, whether you have mentoring, coaching, one-on-one services, and things like that. And the connection the connection statement came about as so many business owners just struggle with introducing themselves. And it actually, it came about from a conversation Susie and I had at a conference, Tribe Live in Toronto. And we made the observation that a lot of people at the conference, when someone says, so what do you do? The most common question you get at a conference, people would be talking for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes even 10 minutes. And I would be left none the wiser on what they actually did and who they did it for. So the purpose of having an elevator pitch, a unique positioning statement, a unique selling proposition, a connection statement, all these kind of things are so that you can introduce yourself to potential clients in a way that has them really quickly and clearly understand who you are, who you serve, how you serve them, and the problems that you solve. So they're the key elements, but they're basically the same. And Marcella, the follow-up question is the bio/elevator pitch / me, the same thing. So the bio, which is the short for your biography, the bio, the elevator pitch, the unique positioning statement, the connection statement, the unique selling proposition, they're all just different names for what is essentially the same thing. Now, what's interesting is that when you're talking about a bio, that's usually something that is at the bottom of a guest post you've done. It's something read out to introduce you, maybe on a podcast or on a stage, but it's essentially has the same information. It introduces you to your audience with a couple of key elements that people need to understand: who you are, who you serve, what you do, how you help them, which, as I said, might be the transformation that you offer, it might be the problem that you solve, and part of that might also be how you actually do it with signature programs or services or things like that. Now, Marcella asks, are the about me the same thing? No, that is about me is usually referred to a page on your website. So yes, it's the same kind of information, but it's longer. Okay, and you'll want to dig into a lot more detail, but you essentially need someone who's reading your about page on your website to understand those core concepts: who you are, what you do, who you do it for, and how you actually help them. But the about me will go into a lot more detail, such as why you know so much, what is your experience, what are your credibility boosters, also some more personable stuff. What do you like doing in your spare time? What makes you you? Because the thing about the about page is that is the page where someone visiting your website will decide if you're the kind of person they want to work with. When they look at your services and your pricing and all that kind of stuff, it's great. But the decision will usually come down to, are we going to be a good fit to work together personality-wise? So that's what you can flesh out in your about page. All right, so that's the first question. Great question, Marcella. And so anyone tuning in, say g'day. Let me know that you're here. Hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. And if you are watching live and questions pop up, put them in the comments and I'll answer them here live on the call. All right, so moving down, actually what I'm going to do is I am going to quickly check in to make the live streams actually working. Say hello if you can see me. Oh, yes, it is. Excellent. All right, cool. So because I have some whizzy tech, I'm going to move that over there so I can keep an eye on comments as well. All right, next question. Now, another sidebar. These are AMA sessions. Ask me anything. This is your chance to get some free coaching from me, get some free insights, move past barriers, move past things that have you stuck. So please take advantage of them. I want to help you as much as possible. All right, so Marcella asks, at which point of the process, being the copywriting onboarding process, do you get the payment? 50% when the client gives you the go, she asks. And the short answer, which I actually popped into the comments, is yes. 50% when the client gives you the go ahead. So this is generally how the payment structures work. Hang on. Someone's just said hello, but I can't see who it is. So I'm going to quickly check over here. It's Karen. Hi, Karen. So this is generally how a copywriting project begins. There is some kind of discussion as to the scope of the project. That could happen on a phone call, which is often called a discovery call, but it might also happen over email, at which point you give your client a price. Now, you might do that over email, you might do it on the phone, you might do up a fancy proposal. So there's lots of different ways, but you figure out the scope of the project, then you give them the price. They say, hell yes, let's get this ship out of port. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know where I pulled that one from, but yes. So you get approval of the project. That is when you send an invoice for 50%. And this is an industry standard to pay 50% of the project up front. What many copywriters also do, if the project is relatively small, like it's below a financial value, it would be 100% upfront. So that's completely up to you and the decisions you make in your business. But yes, 50% upfront. Now, in confident copywriting, we've come to call this a commencement invoice rather than a deposit. Now, that phrase actually came up from a conversation in a very cool group in Australia called the Freelance Jungle. But basically, it shifts the idea, because this deposit is usually non-refundable, it shifts the idea that you might be able to refund the money, or that it's just a holding contribution, to this is the money you pay me to get started on your project. So nothing begins until that payment has been processed. And I want to thank Melanie Bateson, who jumped in and said 50% before the pen hits the paper, 50% at the completion of the project. Be strict about it, she says, or you will get burned. And I just want to say amen to that. Every single time I have skipped the commencement invoice and thought, I'll just get started. I'm really excited about this project. And what could possibly go wrong? Everything could go possibly wrong. And it usually does. So I want to encourage you to stick to your processes and get that commencement fee 50% paid upfront before you start work. And some clients will push back on this. You can tell it's early in the morning. I haven't quite had enough tea yet because I'm stammering a little bit. Tea is my lifeblood. But yes, some clients will push back, which they're perfectly allowed to do, but you do not have to accept. And as I said, repeat, the stricter you are about especially this part of your project, the easier your life will be. All right. I'm just scrolling up and down. Now, Marcella said that she didn't want to monopolize me, but she's asked lots of great questions. And Karen, I know you're watching. If something occurs to you, this is your chance to get a little extra coaching before we have our own little confident copywriting stuff going on next week. All right, I'm just going to have a sip of tea and then I'm going to tackle another question. Oh my gosh. So usually, well, what I try and do with these sessions is I try and jump around the time. So now it is 9:40 a.m. Pacific time, San Francisco, and I wanted to do one in the morning so everyone in the UK could jump in and attend. Other times I run them in the afternoon, which is great for Australia. I try to be very time zone sensitive because, yeah, replays are fine, but tuning in live is where it's at. Jacinda asks, is it too late to be an implementer? No, it is not. Now, if you're watching and you're like, what the heck is she talking about? Jacinda has just joined my Confident Copywriting group. And there are actually 2 ways that you can be a confident copywriter. You can join in the regular but awesome big group in the membership, which isn't actually so big. It's nice and cozy. But then you can also become a CC implementer. And this is a track where we have co-working sessions, we do goal setting, we do 30, 60, 90-day planning, and it's all about creating space to work on your business, not in your business. So if you're one of those people who was like, I always want to work on my business, I know I should, but I never seem to have enough time, that is the core of the thing that CC Implementer actually solves. So if you're interested in confident copywriting, it's closed now, but it will be opening up again at the end of September, but only to people on the invite list. So Jacinda, if you would like to have a chat about becoming an implementer, send me a DM and we can have a quick chat about that. We've got our own little welcome party tomorrow and then we're kicking things off. So it's really great timing to ask about that. It is a lovely group. Karen, thank you for saying that. All right. So, and because you said that lovely thing, I'm going to answer your question next. After you send off a proposal, there we go, technology. And this is Karen. I know it's you, Karen. After you send off a proposal, how long do you wait to follow up if you haven't heard anything back from a prospective client? Oh my gosh, I clearly need more tea. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, now, Karen, I just want to give you the heads up. In the complete project checklist in Confident Copywriting, you'll actually see follow-ups for a number of days. And I'm pretty sure, definitely follow up within a week. But what I think I've got is 3, 7, 14 days. There's usually a little intervals of a couple of days. And the first question I like to ask is, did you get the proposal? Ask a really easy question that a client who is possibly already going, oh crap, I haven't responded to that, I haven't even read it, can quickly fire off a response that's like, yep, got it, had a read, I'll get back to you later in this week. Or, no, actually, I never saw that email. Can you please resend it? So you want that nice, easy opening question. Did you get it? Were you able to open it? And you can play the whole like, oh, technology is often kidnapping things kind of card. I think it's a really nice, oh, small group starts for first grade. It's a nice kind of icebreakery question that helps you ease into going, and now do you have any questions about the proposal itself? So I like to follow up within a few days just to make sure they've got it. And then within a week to see if they have any questions about the scope, about the investment, about the inclusions, things like that. And I'm always saying, if you'd like to have a quick chat about it, just let me know. Or if you have any questions about it, just let me know. And then one of the final follow-ups I like to do is I'm looking at my calendar for the month ahead. And as as we've been talking about your project, you have priority booking right now. If you'd like to get started by date or this month, let's kick the ball off, get the game going. Gosh, I suck at analogies, don't I? But let's get started. What I need from you first is written approval of the proposal, and then I will lay down the next step. So the answer to your question, Karen, in a few days to say, did you get it? Could you open it? Nice, easy question. Within 7 days to go, did you have any questions? And then within 14 days to say, I'm looking at my calendar. This is your chance. Would you like to go ahead? Okay. And then after that's done, like say they ghost you or they say, actually, the proposal was amazing. You're clearly fantastic, but we're not ready to go ahead right now. Then I would put them on my regular rotation of following up, because every month or every 2 months, at least every 3 months, you should be touching base with people you have spoken to that haven't gone ahead. And of course, in the Copywriter Starter Kit in Confident Copywriting, there's the 9-word email follow-up that you can use, which for everyone else is, are you still looking for a copywriter? Are you still looking for a copywriter? It's a 7-word email. Dear Karen, are you still looking for a copywriter? Okay, so that's the follow-up email. So that's escape. That is the immediate, middle, long-term process for following up on a proposal. And the point of following up on people who have said no, or maybe, or not yet, is so that you can nurture these relationships and keep filling your pipeline up without having to do a lot of time-consuming marketing. All right, get the ball rolling. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen. I'm just going to have some more tea. All right. Hi, May. Nice to see you too. All right. All right. Oh, and Nikki's here too. All right. It's talking about young kids with glasses. All right, cool. I'll follow up on that. And May, as you are here too, you've just asked a question. Let's do it. I love how all these amazing confident copywriters are grabbing some extra coaching. We have our own coaching call next week, but this is how you show up and take advantage of marketers who give generously online. This is for everyone here. I want to be able to help as many people as possible. And so I offer these AMA sessions to everyone in for the love of copy. When you post your questions, when you post your challenges, when you get support from me in sessions like this, but also the collective brains trust that is in for the love of copy, that is how you make progress. There is absolutely no point to being stuck. And this is not just for me and my group. Loads and loads of marketers and specialists will do things like this, give you opportunities to ask questions and pick their brain for free. So absolutely show up. And I love that you are all here. Jacinda, I've seen the DM and I will follow up with you after. Yay. So May, how to pitch a retainer contract to clients that are all about the per hour model. All right. So this is questions we can split into two really. If they're all about the per hour model, one of the things we need to get to is a project fixed cost, right? So that's when you do all the calculations and you say, for this entire project, your investment will be, because we want to sidestep words like cost, price, fees, things like that. We want to use words like investment. So when you're looking at a project, you want to be able to give one price that has all the project inclusions. Now, sometimes you're going to work for longer than you quote for. Sometimes you're going to work for less time than you quoted for. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. But when you offer a fixed price for a project, the client has certainty about how much it's going to cost them, and you have certainty about how much you're going to be paid. Yay. Now, the other part of this question is how to pitch a retainer client. Retainer contract. So if you are getting requests for the same kind of work from a client on the regular basis, and it might be creating content, that's often the most common one, blogs, newsletters, things like that. If they need those things on a regular basis, it's a perfect opportunity to switch them to a retainer model, which basically says you pay me up front for the work you want done in a month. You have priority in my calendar, and so I commit to doing this work for you every single month, and you pay me at the start of every month. Now, retainers can work on deliverables or a set number of hours. But the key and the answer to your question is, if people need the same things on a regular basis, then that's an opportunity for you to say something like, some of my other clients have me actually on retainer for this kind of work. What that means is you get priority access to time in my calendar to get this work done every single month without you having to worry about booking me in. You're guaranteed the work is done. You have priority of the hours. So you sell them on not only how it works, but the benefits to them. And often retainer clients have a little bit of a price incentive to have you booked in every single month, because you don't have to do any marketing for that client. So you can also explain to them the investment incentives of getting you on retainer rather than scrambling out to get the work booked in every single month. But because of course I may, you're going to be a booked out copywriter. And so if they don't have those hours locked into your calendar, they might miss out. So that's a really important thing to do. Now, if they're married to the per hour model, I would ask some questions. I would have a think about actually why they might be, and also map out the benefits to switching them. So I've given you some benefits for the per project pricing model, and I've given you some benefits for the retainer. That's how you can have the conversation. So I notice you're asking for the same kind of work to be done every single month. I have an idea about how I can make this more efficient from an administrative point of view and more cost effective to make sure that you still get the work done every single month. Would you be interested in learning more about that? So that is how you can do it. Whenever you're pitching an upsell or a shift in the working relationship, have a think about how it will benefit them, because clients only care what's in it for me, right? That's all we care about. What do I get out of this? If I'm paying you up front, how does this make my life faster, easier, more awesome, cheaper, all those kind of things. So that is what you need to think about, and then present it as, would you be interested in learning more about this and how I can make your life faster, easier, more cost effective, things like that. And if they're pushing back on the per hour model, it's also worth mapping out the pros and cons of both so you can have that conversation with them. I hope that helps. We can absolutely dig into this more in confident copywriting. Alrighty, great question. All right, I'm just scrolling through. I love that you're adding these. Okay, cool. Excellent. Okay, now Marcella had this kind of longer question. Now, if you're just tuning in live, say hello, let me know you're here. If you've got questions, and I don't know about you, but when I attend like Q&As and AMAs, I'm often like, I don't have any questions. And then I hear other people's questions and I'm like, oh yeah, actually I have a lot of questions now that you've given me that prompt. All right, so Marcella, here we go. Oh my gosh, I just saw the word Dalek in your DM, Jacinda. That's awesome. Okay, I think we're twins at heart. Okay, my first one, reading your sales page checklist, which is a confident copywriting resource, I've seen the introduce the source. Now, I might need to check out what that means, but I have an idea that it's something that I would have said around if you have specific data that you are citing, if you are quoting, if you are using stats, then introduce the source would be, you got to back it up with where you actually got it from. That's with all these kind of things. You can't take quotes and ideas and stats that have come out of reports or you've seen online and not cite the originator, because that, bad form, not to mention copyright infraction. So that's possibly what you meant. But let's dig into this a little bit more. I'll take some time after this AMA to look at that sales page resource. And we'll dig into it a bit more. But she also says, do you mean that I must insert it within the sales page? Can't be enough having it in the about me. All right, Marcella, we're going to have to dig in because I'm not quite sure what this question is about. I have the feeling it's a really great question and I would love to be able to answer it, but I don't know what it means. So we can go through this in confident copywriting. So follow up with me about that. All right. You are so welcome, I May just said thank you very much. Cool. I'm glad that helps. And again, you can dig in confident copywriting. If anything doesn't make sense, you can just go, whoa, 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 back the truck up there. Can you explain that in more detail? I am more than happy to explain things in more detail. All right, well, those are all the questions that we've got. It could be a nice short one here today, which is fine because I clearly need more cups of tea. This is my big giant cup that I have first thing in the morning, and then the cups get smaller and smaller as the day goes on. So if you don't have any more questions, guys, I will jump off and check in with my first grader who's doing her maths work right now. Nikki asked, do the comments flash up thanks to StreamYard, or do you have another app? This is StreamYard. So I got access to StreamYard through an AppSumo deal, and I quite like it. You know, nothing is perfect, but it lets you share your screen while you're talking. I haven't got anything else here, so I can't do it. You can do some things like branding. You can add backgrounds. You can do a couple of whizzy things that I haven't quite figured out. But yeah, I'm quite liking it. And goodness knows, Facebook's been a bit janky recently with having permission. I used to use Zoom for live streaming, but sometimes Zoom and Facebook have fights. So when I saw the AppSumo deal, I was like, oh, I'll grab that. I'm going to give it a go. And so far, so good. So that's an easy one. I like the easy ones. All right, I'm just watching here. All right, cool. Well, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. And for everyone who's watching the replay, I do one of these every single month. If you are new to the For the Love of Facebook, more tea, Melinda. If you are new to the For the Love of Copy Facebook group, then you'll see me in here a bit more often now that the launch is done. I'm loving hard on my confident copywriters, but I also want to make sure I have the space here to help you guys as well. I've loved reading all the comments and everyone chiming in with great advice. That is what this group is for. We're all word nerds. We love writing copy, whether we're business owners who write our own copy or we're copywriters looking to grow and develop our skills in business. This is the kind of space where you can ask questions, get help. It's a kind space. It's a supportive space. No douchebags allowed, right? Or as we say here, no dickheads on the team. For the love of Facebook, Jacinda, exactly. It does sound like a swear. I might take care of that. All right. Well, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me this morning. I will see most of you in confident copywriting, probably just after this call. Jacinda, I'll reply to you. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you here again. Cheers, everyone.